Hey, Paul.
Hi, JJ.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Look, you can't see my messy background anymore.
Yeah, but you have like this weird like thing going on with your face where it's like trying to cut out. It's kind of creepy, to be honest with you. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
so back in the before times,
Mm-hmm.
when we all started getting into OBS and stuff, I found this tool called ChromaCam, which
Okay.
basically attempts to do what Zoom does, remove your background.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got it working again. I had to like reboot my Mac into recovery mode and turn off some new um, device protection. I don't know, but anyway, I got it working, and that's the main thing. So
That's true.
I
That's
think
true.
if I had better lighting, I think it would work better. So I might have to pull my old key lights out and set them up. You're inspiring me to set up my old streaming gear,
Yeah,
which
man.
I was hoping I'd never have to do.
Well, people seem to enjoy these videos. But before we go any
Right.
farther, hey, who are you?
I am Paul Tchaikovsky, and I work at Red Hat. You may have heard of us. We make the Linuxes, among other things. And I help customers with our cloud services. So that is any of our OpenShift products that run on any of the public clouds. So more specifically, Rosa and ARO, which are both flavors of OpenShift, sold by and co-maintained with the cloud providers.
Cool. 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 And hi, I'm JJ Asgar. I'm a developer advocate for IBM. And every once in a while, Paul and I come together and other way, we come together and stream about not Paul, but the sign. You gonna point to it? No. Okay. Uh, we come other way. There we go. Perfect. We come together and we stream about something called InstructLab, and it's a new project from Red Hat and IBM, and to do some really interesting things with LLMs, large language models. We're not going to go through the basics today because there's a handful of videos. Hopefully, you're watching through this playlist, or if you just go to the channel, you'll see quite a few different ones. But today, Paul, what are we going to do? I'm actually kind of excited about this one. What are we going to do?
So I think we're going to do a little bit of InstructLab training, and then we might try and hook InstructLab up to one of the AI GUIs and
Yeah,
see if we can chat with it through a fancy GUI interface.
yeah. Now, I'm not
Cool.
a. We're going to do this live, so I have no idea how long this video is going to be. But no, we're not going to speed anything up. And I'm running this on my laptop, so we'll actually be able to see it in real time how long this takes. So if you bear with me for a
You got
second.
a M3 Mac with a pile of RAM, right?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up my little thing just so everybody sees exactly what we're doing. This is going to be, there's another video that we show how to do sort of this already, but this is now more so, right? Like we teased it with the other video, but now we're actually going to do it live because we've worked through this quite a bit now. So if you bear
I
with me
feel like
two
we need
seconds.
some Bill O'Reilly memes.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So if I go ahead and bring this over here, and Paul cannot see what I'm looking at, so bear with me for a second here. I'm going to share. We're going to share this one so Paul can see that too.
Whew,
There we
there it
go.
is.
Oh, need to make that disappear. So what I'm going to do first is just to prove to everyone, I'm going to go ahead and bring over this guy right here. And this is a 64 gig Mac Apple M3 Max. So it's a pretty honking machine. Um, that's just making sure that everyone sees that because it's important to recognize that this is that. Okay, so if I come over to my notes, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up, and I'm going to first do the standard installation here of InstructLab. Now, if you look here, this is quite a bit of commands here. But what it does is it makes a directory called InstructLab, moves into it, creates a virtual environment of Python 3. If you don't know, use Python 3.11 and ahead or above. By default, on a Mac, the newest version comes with Python 3.12, so that works. We do a pip install InstructLab. Obviously, we activate the virtual environment, install inside of InstructLab. we remove this llama CCP Python and then reinstall it with the llama metal on. This is really important on a Mac because that enables the GPU. So we'll actually be able to do it. So I'll go ahead and enter now. It'll only take a second. Most of my stuff is cached. Any questions there, Paul?
No questions. It was all pretty straightforward.
Cool. Just checking. This will take a little bit longer on your laptop if you are running this first time. It does take, got to bring stuff down from the internet and all that. But as you can see, it's all cached for me. I might have done this a couple times.
Right. The only thing that's not cached is the llama CPP Python because you just removed it from your cache. Exactly. And I believe we do that to make sure that we don't have it like compiled, like on the machine compiled for a different type of GPU or whatever. So just clean it to make sure we have the exact right version and it's compiled for the correct GPU.
Exactly. All right. And what we're going to do also today is we're going to play with the Granite model. So by default right now, as of 0.17.1, which is the one we're running of InstructLab, it defaults to the Merlinite model. We're going to force the Granite model, which is from IBM Research, and I'm going to let Paul talk about that for a second. But before I say that, I do want to point out that you do see this error here at the bottom. This is, don't worry about this error. This is just complaining about NumPy. But the most important part here is successfully installed this part. So don't pay attention to that error. It's fine. So Paul, what is Granite?
Granite is a model that was originally built by IBM, but I think it's now shared between IBM and Red Hat. And it is a model that is built from fully open source sources. And so all the sources are, I believe, open common clause, I think, is where it's well pulled from. And then we indemnify users of the model, or maybe they have to be paid users, but either way, basically saying that we guarantee with our own money that there's nothing in this model that shouldn't be there from a copyright perspective, etc. So it then gives our customers kind of a bit more faith that they're also not going to run afoul of any weird copyright or other issues. It also means that we know exactly what data it's been trained on, and also because it's a model that customers pull down and use inside of InstructLab, OpenShift AI, Red Hat Enterprise Linux AI, etc. It's all local to them, which means that there's no if they're starting to train it with their own information, if they're connecting it to their own databases for RAG purposes or whatever, they know that data is not leaving their premises. It's not leaving wherever their data is existing, which is pretty important because you don't want to accidentally tell a public model about your inside secrets.
I mean, maybe I do because my secrets are open. Because I'm an open source engineer. No, it's not working.
No.
It's not working. Okay, so thank you for that, Paul. So as you see here, I've spun up the ilab's model server, which is serving it now, and we're talking about, and to Paul's beautiful question of who is Batman, just to prove that we're talking to the Granite model, here is that. But we're not actually we're gonna pivot real fast, and I'm gonna say, what is InstructLab? Now you'll notice that's wrong. In the case of what we're doing here, that's not.
Yeah, this is the classic AI problem, right? You've got it was trained at a point in time, and at the point in time this model was trained, InstructLab didn't exist. And so what happens is if it doesn't have accurate enough information to answer your question, it just starts hallucinating, right? Because generative AI is a lot more than just a fancy autocomplete, right? But at the same time, if you think about autocomplete, if it doesn't really know what you're trying to say, it still wants to be helpful. So it just picks things that are nearby in kind of the tenses and stuff and just starts throwing things together. sometimes it looks very authoritative, and you're like, oh, this is definitely correct, but it's very, very wrong. And that's kind of the example here. Is like if you didn't know what exactly InstructLab was, you'd be like, oh, cool, now I know what it is because it just told me, but it's completely wrong. And so don't submit your PhD thesis on InstructLab using this model as it lives today.
And as you see, one of the questions that we'll eventually get to is one of the questions, asking the right, what is the term of prompt engineering, right? Asking the right question to the AI to get the stuff out. I just asked, what is InstructLab initially, and it talked about it as an educational system. Then I tried to say, hey, what is InstructLab for AI, which you'll still see in a little bit here, is a very important point where we tried to focus those tensors that Paul was talking about and the locality of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to train this AI to know about what InstructLab is. And then from there, it's going to associate a lot of AI words. So it's going to still know what InstructLab as an education system is. But then when we say for AI, it'll actually focus in better on the InstructLab narrative, which is nice.
Right. But you'll see from that answer you just got, if it doesn't have the information you're looking for, it just hallucinates in a way that seems like it's even more correct.
Yep. So I'm going to go into this technology directory I'm creating. I'm creating a, CD, because everyone's watching me. I can't type right now. I think I spelled technology wrong.
We'll pretend that you spelled technology correct and just keep going.
Just keep going. I'm going to go ahead and grab this YAML file. This is, what it is a nice little YAML file from the InstructLab team about a bunch of questions around InstructLab and whatnot. I'm just doing, like, obviously in the real world, you want to do something a little bit better that isn't so canned, but this kind of gets the point across, right? And important to recognize that it is pulling directly from the InstructLab GitHub, and then also has a full commit to it too.
Yeah, so what's interesting here is you're providing a data file, which is that link to the GitHub repo on that readme.markdown. And so that's got all the information about InstructLab itself. And then the questions and answers are 5 example questions and answers where you have picked a question and figured out the correct answer from the doc, right? And that sort of creates your Q&A file. And that's the root of how you train using InstructLab. So I assume, JJ, next you're going to run that through and it's going to create more questions, right? That's how it works?
Almost. First thing first, I went ahead and did the taxonomy diff to make sure that the Q&A is valid. And as you notice, it gives the diffed one out to make sure that you are training it against what you're looking for. Then, because of the way the model works, and there's some philosophical questions here, but I lean to the side of when you're a student and a teacher, because we have a student and teacher model or environment where we have one model that creates a bunch of questions off of the knowledge. You probably want to go to your teacher to give you questions. You don't want to go to the student to ask a bunch of questions about a thing it doesn't know about. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling down the Merlinite model by default, and we're going to turn that model on to do synthetic data generation, or SDG, off of that Q&A file to ask a bunch of questions. So when we train the model, the Granite model that we're creating, it will come up with all the questions it needs to do, which is pretty neat.
Right. And so Merlinite is, I guess, a larger, more robust model.
Yeah.
As in, it's got a much larger training set than Granite does, and so that helps for creating these questions and answer examples because it has a lot more context that it can pull from. But you might not want to use that kind of model in your own applications because it has way more information. It's also more likely to kind of go off the rails and not answer things as correctly as you want, or find information that's similar enough to what you're asking and start answering about that instead. So we sort of get this really good method where we can use the Merlinite to build up the training set to then train Granite, which is kind of a simpler model. And that way we sort of get, make sure that our data is more likely to be the data is answered when users are asking questions in the kind of area that we're interested in.
Now, if we look here, I know for a fact that, and unfortunately our heads are in the way. Oh, here we go. When I've done this, it has taken less than 5 minutes. I'm starting to worry that because I'm running OBS here for our recording, that this is actually going to take a little bit longer than we were originally hoping. So my promise of speeding up this video might, not speeding up these videos might be a problem. But it is dropping down to 16 minutes now, so that's not too bad.
We'll let it roll. While it's doing this, we could go and play with the Open WebUI, right?
Yes. So, and also if you didn't notice too, I do not have the server running up here now as we're doing Generate, because Generate does spin up the server for you. So if you're walking through this path too, you need to kill the server on a ilab model serve, because otherwise there's a conflict.
Got it.
All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to come over here and go to Open WebUI and let this kind of roll in the background here. Maybe. Thinking about it. There we go. So, Paul, what does this look like?
It looks like ChatGPT to me.
Yeah, it does. That's pretty much it. That's all I was going to say. But what it is so you know how we used the ilab model chat a few moments ago. This is basically a GUI version of what has become the de facto standard of how you interface with it, but it works with both the OpenAI API and also the Llama API also, which is pretty neat. The best part about this piece of software is that it is crazy easy to install. So if I do ilab model chat, I believe because it's already running, this should give me another opportunity to connect to it. I think. Gotta go. Who is Batman? There we go. So but if you notice also here, it defaulted to the Merlinite model when I did ilab model chat, because that is what is running here in the bottom, but it's important to recognize that. And Paul, you are very loud. Can you stop? You mute yourself?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So what's going to go over here is I'm going to come over here and go to temp and back in here, InstructLab, and then do source venv bin activate, and then I'm going to do pip, and then pip install Open WebUI, and that's right. Open WebUI requires version 3.11. It does not like version 3.12. So we're going to have to come out of here and go deactivate. And then I'm going to do mkdir Open WebUI, Open WebUI, Python. Oh, that's not good. Oh, crap. Whoopsie. So I guess I'll be killing that key. Python 11 venv Open WebUI, and then do source venv activate, and then pip install Open Open WebUI. Still can't believe I just put my key up on the screen. I gotta fix that. I'm so paranoid now. Gotta figure out which one it is too. That's the problem. All right. It's chugging along. It's got 10 more minutes. The poor computer's taking a bit here. Taking a bit of a hit. Oh, you're on mute.
How about while you're doing this? Oh, is it finished?
Yep.
Okay, I was about to suggest something, but since it's ready, we'll just keep rolling.
Come on. Here we go. All right, port 8080. So HTTP 8080. Here we go. I gotta create a new one. Add or sign up. Admin. Admin. Let's go. Go away. And then if I come over here, oops, that's not what I'm looking for. Admin panel. And then come to settings, connections. Turn on this one. This should be local.
Almost 8,000.
I believe that is correct. And then, as I learned recently, to get this to actually work, you have to have an API key, so you can just put whatever trash you want inside of that. And then, oop, that's not right.
Oh, you're not running the server.
I should be. This should be running.
But I don't think when you're doing the train, I don't think it
But I just set up ilab model chat works.
does it.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh. Right. Can you curl the URL you just put in the Open WebUI?
That is just to make sure. 8,000. That's the reason why. Oh no.
That's what we did. Just
Yeah, curl it.
yeah.
Hmm. So I guess not. So maybe ilab model chat is actually connecting through a local connection that, like maybe the
Scroll back up to the ilab chat connection info because it should have shown what it was connecting to.
nope, it just
No?
joined. Just does this.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know how. So chat must be able to somehow interact with itself when it's in training training mode. Whoops.
That feels like an issue and or something we should probably put in right there right now, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. My understanding was that you couldn't. Well, can you run ilab serve? Is it going to mess with the existing stuff?
No. Whoa. So ilab model serve can run.
Yep.
It's just it spins up a different server for that. That's interesting.
Right.
There we go. Verified.
All right. There's your model. Good stuff.
Who is Batman? Oh. This isn't good.
Yeah, I've seen this happen before. And I think it's just because there's some kind of default like system message in InstructLab, and this can then cause weird behaviors.
I've got a feeling it's because we got this running too. Because look, there's some disconnected. Oh no, I guess that was just me
Right,
turning it off.
that's just you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you if you created a go back to Open WebUI. I think if you were to create a new model, no. I'm trying to remember how you do this. It might be in settings. Settings.
System prompt.
There you go. Yeah. I would just say something like, you are an AI assistant. Answer questions as concisely as possible.
Like that?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. So I think actually what was happening, because did you notice it had like it looked like it was asking questions of itself. So I think maybe it was somehow using the default system message for ilab when it's doing the training, which is to create questions for itself.
Yeah.
Right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that might be worth some future investigation into like changing the default behavior based on the client that's connecting or something. But anyway, it was easy fix with a new system message.
Yes.
So that's cool. Can I your training's still running.
Yep. Do you want to take over?
You should probably kill your serve because you're probably fighting for memory.
Probably a good point.
And hopefully we didn't break the training. Hopefully that moves.
Yes, I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to switch, I will share some stuff. And how do I do that? Share. I can probably just share a Chrome tab. All right. So I have.
Hang on 1 second. Give me 2 seconds here. I need to bring you in. Copy. Okay. Make sure it shows up okay. There we go. All right, we can see hello, Paul Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, nice. All right, so this is my Open WebUI. And so I have it connected to ChatGPT. I have it connected to Olama. Locally, its own models with Llama 3. And also you can see I have models Merlinite here as well. So a little bit more similar to you, but a little bit more configured. I also have it set up to do stable diffusion locally, so it can generate images. And then I also have it set up so it can do web searches to add extra information. So where do you live, JJ?
I live in Austin, Texas.
Okay, what should I do in Austin, Texas on what's the weather?
rainy, depressing day.
On a rainy day.
Check out Contemporary Austin. What is that?
Right. So, indoor activities, Bullock State, Contemporary Austin. I've never heard of that. Take a tour of the state capital, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, not
Nice.
too bad. Oh, look, it even has some places you can go for coffee.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hit enable web search and I can rerun that same question. And so it starts off by searching, gets a bunch of results, and then includes
Oh.
that.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. And so now it's got some more contemporary results because it's looking at whatever's coming up first. And
Nice.
it's using a search aggregation server I run locally, which kind of looks at Google, Bing, and a few others and aggregates their results in an attempt to try and get away from the the stuff that's provided by ads to get you to spend money on tickets to tours and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Nice.
kind of cool.
That is really
And
cool.
then if I want to create a new chat, I can turn web search off. And of course, you just ask this, who is Batman, blah, blah, blah. Right, great. Describe a photo taken of Batman and Spider-Man doing high five. So blah, blah, blah. And then I can ask it to generate an image based on that. So in a lot of other tools, you'll actually just say, "Oh, here's what I want. Go make an image." But with Olama, you actually have to get it to generate an image based off its own response.
Mm.
So I could have just said, "Repeat this back to me," and put some text there. It would repeat it back to me. But I actually find I get some interesting results by actually asking it to kind of creatively describe a scene because it's unfortunately a little AI thing that can run on a computer is way more creative than I am. Look at
Hey,
that,
that's pretty good. That is really
right?
good. Yeah.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah. That is really
Now
good.
you can see there's a weird thing. It looks like Spider-Man's hand is coming out of his glove or something weird, or it's not quite perfect, but it's
That's
not
pretty
bad,
that's pretty close, man. That is pretty
right?
close. Yeah.
And this is all just sitting here on my I have a Linux box with a NVIDIA GPU, but I could have done all of this on my Mac as well.
That is pretty good.
So it's kind of cool. It's getting pretty close to what you get out of ChatGPT and some of the other AI tools, but everything is local. Everything stays local. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Um
And
so
then
so when
how's oh
so when you're just you talking to it, obviously it's pretty fast. Have you had multiple
uh-huh.
people talk to it at the same time to see the overhead on it, or is it just like, are you just ever going to expect, like, when you talk to this on other people, are like, this is just for me, this is not a shared environment, like, where's
yeah,
where's the
that's right. This
cutoff?
is
Do you know
just
what I mean?
yeah. So I mean, anyone on my local network can access this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using the same model, it's not too bad.
Okay.
If you switch models, then obviously it may have to load and unload things from memory depending on how big the model is. So
Yeah.
when I asked it to draw the image, it actually had to kind of uh, load up the stable diffusion models,
Mm-hmm.
which then I think our training session's broken. Oops.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it is too.
Yeah. Um, I wonder if you can break it and start again and see if it resumes.
Yeah, I think we flew too high to the sun on this one, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. It was probably a little bit much thinking we could run the server at
Yeah.
the same time. Although it should be able to,
It should.
but whatever.
I think what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to let this just run, and then we'll have to
Right.
pick this up again on another video because, you know, I don't want to.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
It got halfway through. Do we have the? It probably hasn't rated the questions.
Nope. It just started. It
Oops.
doesn't dump everything into a JSON.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, given this is going to take a while, we could pause the recording. You can wait till it's done and then pick up where it dropped off.
Yeah.
And then
yeah. You want to do that?
Ping me and I can try and jump back on if I haven't got anything else going on. Otherwise, you can wrap it up without me.
Okay. I will do that.
Cool.
I will pause it now, and hopefully we'll see each other again here in a little bit. And I'm not too sure if this actually pause works, but we'll find out.
I've used it before. It should work.
Okay, cool. Pausing.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, Paul wasn't able to come back and join me. That's okay. As you can see here, it finished. And it took about 28 minutes, which isn't too bad. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring my notes back up. And I am going to now train the model. And then this model will take a few more minutes to train. I'm going to go ahead and do time in front of this so we can kind of see it. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again while this is running so we can see from there. But yeah, let's kick it off. And pulls the stuff. There we go. And we'll see it go here in just a second. There we go. Now it's starting to train. So I'll let this, as I said, I'll pause it and we'll see the time at the end. And then we'll move on from there. It doesn't take too long, but I won't have to let you just sit here for a little while. See you in a little bit. Here we go. We're coming to the end of it. And we're about to see here in just a second. Iteration 100 is usually where it finishes. Almost there. There we go. And took about 7 minutes or so. All right. So now I should be able to come along to ilab model test here. To verify the stuff we're doing we're expecting. Because I'm on a Mac, these commands work. It doesn't, I don't fully understand actually what it says or means quite yet, to be brutally honest. But command completes, so that's usually a good sign, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and convert the model into a GGUF for us. Okay. Do the convert. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and run the model. And we'll run it up here. as soon as this is done. Which will be just a second here. And then when it starts, I'll go ahead and run it, do the chat locally, and then I will bring up the Open WebUI here at the end, or at the finish here, and then from there, we're done. And thank you for sticking around this long if you are watching this video. There we go. So I should be able to come over here now and serve the new model. There it is. So I can do ilab model chat. And that's our new one. Who is Batman? To make sure that we're connected to it. Good. And then I can come around over here and localhost 8080. One more time. Select the model. There's a new Granite model, which is what we were hoping for. I can do who is Batman to make sure everything's working. Good. And then go ahead and open this and say, what is InstructLab? Oops. Select the correct model. As you can see, it still says it's about the online platform for design, but say, what is InstructLab for AI? There we go. This is an advanced version of the Struggle Platform corporate. Oh. For, built by IBM and Red Hat. Okay. Well, that didn't work how I was hoping for. This brings like a good conversation around quantization and the ability to where when you convert it, as you saw that convert command, it basically takes out a chunk of its brain. That quantization, so we can actually run it inside the GPU, because otherwise it would be so big that it would overload the machine. This isn't great, admittedly, but if you have the full model, the full 32 model, the training that we would have done works inside of it. Now we can retrain this model again, and we'd actually get a different answer, training from the ground up. And this talks about the STG and the way that type of work happens. So don't worry, this does work on a macro level, but at this level, sometimes you get bad trains like this. I hope you learned something, and take it easy, y'all. Bye.